Today we're going to learn how to install SQL 2022, the developer edition. It's freely available and you can download it from the Microsoft site. Okay, so here we're going to select custom install. Okay, so now you are presented with this splash screen. You got a number of options here. Okay, the option you want to do is installation, and you say new SQL Server standalone installation or add features. You would click on that. Not much to it, you just go next. And go next there, right. So now we want to perform a new installation. Okay, you only got the option for the developer, or you can do the evaluation. Express, I want developer. Okay, so now here you come to the license agreement. You can just accept it. It's a basic software license agreement that no one reads. Okay, so here we have the feature selection. So you would choose the database engine services. If you want to do SQL Server replication, then you would click that. But I'm just going to do a basic installation of the database engine. Okay, so now it asks you for an instance directory. This is where it's going to basically install the SQL Server engine. And then we go to the next step. Right, now because I've already got a default instance already, I can't install another one. So I have to give it a name. And for this purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to call it test. And we're going to go next. Right, you'll get these three services. The agent service, that's for managing your jobs. If you want to schedule something within SQL Server, that's the database engine. And then you'll have a browser. The browser needs to be enabled if you have multiple instances installed. Okay, so we're going to click next here. Okay, so now you've come with a few tabs that you need to set up. Most likely you will use mixed mode because it allows you to also use SQL Server accounts, because some applications will require a SQL Service account. So now it's going to ask you for a password for the SA account. So here ideally you would choose a very strong password. Then in this screen here you can actually choose a specific account that's going to be the administrator of the SQL. Okay, so now you go to your data directories. On a server, you would have dedicated drives. So I'm just going to leave that as standard. Temp DB, again, you would have a separate drive for your temp DB. It's always best practice to separate your temp DB. So again, you would have a separate drive here. Right, so let's go to max stop setting. Now, max stop is something that you would set depending on what kind of workload you would do. So it's selected 10 here. I can make that 5 if I want, or 2, or 1. Okay. That all depends on how you want the number of cores that will be used to run a query in parallel. So if you have a very large query and you want it to parallelize the query and split it up over cores, this setting here would then define how many cores it would use to run that query. So because I've got 20, I'm going to put this to 5. It's a more reasonable setting. So now we come to the memory setting. Okay, so you can leave it on default, which I don't recommend you do. I would select recommended. The reason being, if you leave it on default, you're basically saying to SQL, well, you can take all the memory on the machine. Not a good idea. So go with recommended. I see it's already done a calculation here. Now it's going to give you all your options that you chose, where all your directories are, what your temp DB set it, what your memory is configured to, and all those good things. And then we're just going to click install. Okay, so the installation was completed. Okay, guys, that concludes the installation and setup for SQL Server. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have a great day. Cheers.